Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the recap and reaction to WWE's Money in the Bank Los Angeles, which is the 16th annual Money in the Bank event, PLE, if you will. And this has become one of my favorite PLEs for WWE. I know we got that report that Triple H isn't the biggest fan of Money in the Bank. And look, it's not for everybody, but I like Money in the Bank for the spots. I really do enjoy all of the action that takes place in a Money in the Bank match, you know. And I mean, ladder matches within themselves are pretty exciting and they're good, but it's something a little extra about Money in the Bank. I don't know if it's the element of having 6 superstars in the ring at the same time with ladders. It's something about it that excites me, and I really have enjoyed this PLE for the longest, ever since its inception. And so I hope they keep it, especially next year, because I plan to go to it next year, since it's coming to New Orleans next year, since we're not getting WrestleMania. Boo. But it is what it is. You know, I'll take Money in the Bank as a constellation prize. But this year it took place in Los Angeles, and we had 5 matches, 2 of which were Money in the Bank matches, but we had 3 other matches as well. First off, we began with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match for an opportunity at a women's championship. In that match, you had Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Julia, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer. Also on this card, we had an Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio, defending against Octagon Jr., and the women's Intercontinental Championship match where Laria Vaqueria defending her championship against Becky Lynch. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match between Andrade, Seth Rollins, El Grande Americano, L.A. Knight, Penta, and Solo Sikoa. And we capped it off with the main event, a tag team match between Cody Rhodes and the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso, going up against Logan Paul and the WWE Champion John Cena. Full disclosure, I was not hyped up for this Money in the Bank. I guess over the last couple of weeks, WWE has kind of... I don't know. I say last couple of weeks, but it's been brewing, but it's been losing its fire. It hasn't had the same effect that it had last year. I think the honeymoon is over with this Triple H regime, you know, and I was excited for Triple H taking over, you know, especially being a big fan of NXT Black and Gold when he first when NXT first came to prominence. I loved NXT, and when he first started off on the main roster after Vince left, I was excited as well, because everything was it was looking like it was on an upward trend, and everything was popping. WWE was as hot as it's ever been, and you know, everybody drank the Kool-Aid. And as of late, it's especially since WrestleMania. You could probably go back further than that, but since WrestleMania, it's been boring, man. Just to put it plainly, it's been boring. John Cena's championship run, his heel run, has been a fail in my eyes. It hasn't had the excitement as it was when he first turned heel at the Elimination Chamber. And since then, it has been nothing. It's nothing exciting about this heel turn in his championship run. It's nothing exciting about it. And for the most part, it's because of his limitations in the ring. Now, let's not get get it twisted. John Cena will never be mistaken for Kurt Angle in the ring as far as his move sets or skill sets. You know, that's not his bread and butter. But John Cena is an entertaining wrestler and became an entertaining actor, I must say. But he just doesn't have it. He doesn't move well at all, and he wasn't an agile person to begin with. But even now, he just looks old and decrepit and just can't do the simple moves like just taking a bump. You know, it just looks like he's falling for 15 to 20 seconds. It takes him that long to get to the mat. It's embarrassing at times, you know, but he just doesn't have it. But I can look past that because I know going in that John Cena isn't going to give you a 5-star match. And so that's not the problem. But the problem is the build to his feuds or his availability. It's just like he comes when he comes. You know, he's a part-timer, but this is supposed to be his retirement tour. We should be seeing more of him. We should be hearing more from him, and it's just not there. Cody Rhodes is back, but once again, Cody Rhodes is back in this feud with John Cena, and it's like, man, come on, man. He had his run. He had an epic run last year as champion, and I think he did a phenomenal job as WWE champion. It's time to move on. Let's move him on to something else instead of staying stagnant in this, because before this, it was the bloodline. It was constant since he returned. It was bloodline. Now it's Cena. It's like, man, come on, man, give me something else. We need a little more meat on this bone for Cody Rhodes. And besides the women, there's been no stories. You know, there's been no storylines that you can really get behind. Now the women has been killing it. The women are taking over, man. They are doing God's work on the roster, and I am happy, not just on the main roster, but even on NXT. The women are taking over, and I'm here for it. This is not a complaint. I love it, but it's just nothing else there. And then you have the announcement of WrestleMania coming to New Orleans. I was super excited for it. I know a lot of people that were super excited for it. I was already making plans with my buddy to attend this year's or next year's WrestleMania. And just like that, boom, no, it's not happening. Where is it going? Back to Las Vegas. You know, and it's like, okay, whatever. Now we're getting Money in the Bank as a consolation prize. Fine, but WrestleMania was going to be something epic. Not only, you know, for your wrestling, a whole weekend, you know, 2 nights, but for the economy, for everything around the city, and that's gone. Now, they did say we will get one down the line, but who God knows when that will happen. Then you have the releases, you know, and I'll touch in a little more on one of the releases that affected one of the matches tonight. But that was the biggest one. That was my biggest gripe, that particular release. But it seems like that was a troll, and it is what it is. I'm happy that it was a troll because I was happy to see them back. But the other releases, it just seems like some wrestlers. Now, there were a couple in there that it didn't shock me that they got released, but there were some in there that just felt like they weren't given a proper opportunity to showcase their talents, and it's disappointing. Now, I know they're going to go somewhere else and probably do gangbusters, you know, probably end up in AEW or TNA or on the indie circuit, whatever the case may be. And who knows, they may end up returning. But I think a lot of those talents, I think Triple H fumbled on a couple of them there. But it's just been a little disappointing with everything that's going on in WWE, and not to mention the ticket prices. My God, I was looking at some of those ticket prices, and I'm worried, man. I'm starting to save up now for Money in the Bank. I'm actually kind of relieved that WrestleMania is not coming next year because I would have been in the poorhouse trying to go. But I'm starting to save up now for Money in the Bank next year. Hopefully, if I put $1 a week aside or $1 a day aside, I might have enough for the nosebleeds to that to that PLE. But we shall see. But this event is like I said, one of my favorites. But it wasn't a PLE that I was excited for. I really wasn't going to do a recap of this show, but there were some elements in this show that were exciting. And at the same time, there were some that were just like, my God, will this be? When is this going to be over? But we'll go through them when we go through the matches. Let's go through. Let's start. Let's go ahead. We're 11 minutes in. Let's dive into this PLE Money in the Bank taking place in Inglewood, California at the Intuit Dome. The night kicked off with the women's ladder Money in the Bank match. Before I wanted to touch in on this, I missed it. I got to go back and watch it because I was tied up all day today, and I missed the Worlds Collide event, with AAA and WWE. And I saw some clips of a couple of matches, especially the Vikingo and Chad Gable match. It looked like that was a banger, and I'm mad that I missed it, but I wanted to acknowledge it that it did take place today. So this was a big day for WWE. But from all accounts, it seems like Worlds Collide was better than Money in the Bank. But I have to go back and see it for myself before I make that declaration. But like I said, Money in the Bank kicked off with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match between Rhea Ripley, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer. I like this because we have a lot of fresh talent here. We have a lot of youngsters here. I say youngsters in the sense of being in WWE. Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, Julia, these are fresh. Stephanie Vaquer and actually all three of those just got called up from NXT. So to be put in this spot, this is a big moment for them. Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, and Naomi, they are former champions in their own right. So it's geared up to be something special. And I'm happy that it was something special. This was the match of the night. Spoilers. It doesn't even make sense to wait to tell you at the end of this review. This was my favorite match of the night. Hands down. It's not even close. Not even close. This was so exciting and entertaining. I enjoyed every single one of these women in this match. At one point, I was just sitting there like, I don't care who wins. I don't care. I had a pick, I did have a prediction going into this match, and it did come true because Naomi won the match. But I didn't care because it was so good. These women put on a heck of a show, and what a way to open up the PLE. And I think that hurt the rest of this show. That's why I was so bored with the rest of the show, because these women, they laid it all out there. They gave it their all in this match. At one point, Roxanne Perez looked like she was going to get it. Stephanie Vaquer, they have strapped a rocket to her back, and she will be a champion very, very soon. I don't know if it will be the women's champion or the U.S. champion, but it looks like Julia is going after that U.S. championship. But soon and very soon, she's going to be a champion on the main roster. My runner-up predicted pick was Alexa Bliss. I wanted to see if she could get that briefcase and maybe start to build on her character more since her return. I know that She's rumored to be tangled up with the White Six. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. And once again, that goes back to the storytelling here. Well, that's going on with Triple H and his team. I don't know what she's doing. Sometimes it looks like she's a part of it, with that dark side of her. But then she looks like the little Disney princess character that she is. I don't know. It's just a blending of the two, and I don't know where she's heading with it. But I would love to see Alexa Bliss, healed Alexa Bliss. She is best suited when she's a heel. But you also had Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley, she needs to continue to chase. Sometimes it's better with the chase instead of having her with a belt around her waist. You know what I'm saying? For instance, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was better when he was chasing behind Roman Reigns for the belt. Now, when he got the belt, it was fine. It was good. He was a good champion. But I enjoyed him more in the chase. And so with Rhea Ripley, she's so dominant. She's just phenomenal. Yeah, of course, she can hold that title forever because nobody can beat her. She's that good. And so taking the belt off of her, putting her in chase mode is a better way to use her right now, I think. And I think she was used just right in this match. But ultimately, it came down to Naomi, who scaled the ladder and won the match. And I think this was the correct call. I really believe this was the only call to make. Naomi is phenomenal in this heel role that she's in. She is phenomenal. Is Naomi perfect as far as her ring work? No, she is very botchy. She has been very botchy as of late, man. I don't know what's wrong, but with all that being said, I still love her. I still enjoy her. She is still entertaining. But her walking around with that briefcase, putting EO Sky on notice, putting Tiffany Stratton on notice, this is going to be amazing on Friday nights. What is she going to do? Because she's crazy. Her character is a crazy person, so she is really going to wreak havoc just holding on to that briefcase. I wouldn't cash it in so early with her. Let her hold on to that for maybe after SummerSlam. I wouldn't hit her with it at SummerSlam, but I have a strange feeling she's going to cash that in maybe at Evolution, and that's next month in July, which isn't bad, but I would like to see her with it a little longer. But if they do it, then I'm cool with it. Whenever they do it, I'm cool with it because I want to see Naomi elevate, man, because she deserves it. She is phenomenal, and she's doing phenomenal work. Naomi defeated Alexa Bliss, Julia, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vecchia to become Miss Money in the Bank. And this match gets an A-. I thought this was a phenomenal match. These women, I can't recall any botches. I can't recall any, there was some waiting on the spots to happen. Maybe the timing was off by a split second or a half a second or maybe even a full second here or there. But that's fine. I can live with that because we're dealing with ladders here, man. We don't want to kill these women or the men in their match either. But I thought it flowed pretty well. There were some big spots. There were some stories being told at the same time. And that's what you want out of a wrestling match. We move on to the WWE Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr. I don't know why this was on the card. And look, no disrespect to Dominic Mysterio and no disrespect to Octagon Jr. I don't have a problem with them. I didn't have a problem with the match per se. It just wasn't a pay-per-view match. This was a Monday Night Raw match. The match only went 5 minutes. I don't even think it was a full 5 minutes. It was just there. It was the most random match in PLE history, man. It was, I ain't even know this was on the card. That's how much I was paying attention until they came out, and I'm like, what is this? Is this a recap from Worlds Collide or something that I don't know what this is. Why is this on the card? It was all right. I really have nothing to say about this match other than the fact Dominic Mysterio retained his Intercontinental Championship. It was good to see him defend it because I don't think he's defended it since he won it at WrestleMania. Am I wrong? Am I mistaken there? Maybe once, I think against Penta, if I'm not mistaken. But that was like right after WrestleMania. But he hasn't defended that title that much. And this is supposed to be the working man's title. And he hasn't defended it. I think Jey Uso has defended the World Heavyweight Championship more than Dominic Mysterio has defended the Intercontinental Championship. So I think they need to do a little bit more there. I know they're setting it up for Finn Balor to come and beat Dominic, but they need to get that ball rolling. Dragging it on isn't helping anybody, especially those two. But Dominic Mysterio retains his championship by defeating Octagon Jr. to stay the WWE Intercontinental Champion. And this match gets a letter grade of a C-. Yeah, it was an all right match. It just didn't fit this pay-per-view. It didn't fit the event at all. But we got it nonetheless. And so that was the men's Intercontinental Championship. What about the women's Intercontinental Championship, where Laura Valkyria defended against Becky Lynch? Now, this match had stipulations. It wasn't just a match. If Becky Lynch lost, she would never be able to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship again, as long as Laura still held the champion. Now, if someone else got it, she can go after it. But as long as Laura Valkyria has the Intercontinental Championship, she could not challenge for it again had she lost tonight. Now, if she won tonight, Laura Valkyria will have to raise her hand after the match and acknowledge she was the better woman. And so that was the stipulation. The match was fine. The match was fine. It was better than the men's Intercontinental Championship. I'll give it that. It definitely went longer, 3 times longer. This match went about 15 minutes, and it was better. It was better. It told a story, but at the same time, it felt like a match I've seen already between these two. They've linked up a few times in the past. I think they linked up for the NXT Championship once before. They linked up again on the main roster just recently. I think at the last pay-per-view, or was it Saturday Night Main Event? I don't remember when they wrestled, when Becky lost again. But Becky has never beaten Laura. And I didn't realize that until tonight when Michael Cole said it. And I'm like, oh, she hasn't. She has never beaten her. And for a good portion of this match, it looked like she weren't going to beat her again. I mean, these two have a special chemistry. I don't know if it's because they both are from Ireland, or, you know, they trained together or whatever, or Laura looked up to Becky and modeled her career after hers or whatever, but they have a special chemistry and they work well in the ring together. Like I said, the match was pretty good. It was pretty good, but it just felt like a match that I've seen them have a couple of times already. It was nothing new or inventive there. And I was hoping and praying that Bayley came out. I mean, what's going on with this? It could be just me. It could be just me, but I'm like, man, when are we going to get this Bayley return to beat up Becky? Because Becky is the one who, quote unquote, took her out at WrestleMania to get her spot. But no Bayley at all. I don't get that. And I still don't like how all that went down anyway. But nonetheless, as far as this match is concerned, Becky Lynch comes out victorious, none other by cheating. He grabbing the tights there. And speaking of tights and wardrobe malfunctions and whatnot, this is the second or third time Laura Vecchia has had a wardrobe malfunction during a match on premium live events. Maybe it's time to get a different outfit. I'm just saying. Because when was the other time when her top came completely off and then she had to hide it, and then there was another time she had to duck off in the corner and try to fix it again, and tonight she did it again. The top came off, and that's when the match first started. She had to get the ref to button it up in the bag. I'm like, man, maybe you ought to wear something different because one day you're going to show everybody your goodies. And now, granted, I'm not going to be mad at that day, but I'm just saying, man, there's kids in the audience, but she needs to straighten that up. But in any event, yes, Becky Lynch is now the women's Intercontinental Champion, and we saw that she forced Laura to raise her hand and put the belt around her and acknowledge her and whatnot. And Laura got mad and gave her the what's that move called? The Nightwing at the end, and left the ring. But which tells me that this is not over. And I was happy she did it, but at the same time I was like, oh man, that all that tells me we're gonna get another match out of this. Not that they don't have good matches. I'm just tired of seeing them, man. Give it some space. Let them fight again, maybe down the road. I'm trying to think of a premium live event that happens around November or whatever. But around then, maybe even next year. Just wait. Give it some time. There are other women on the roster. There's a lot. The women's division is stacked. For us to get the same two women fighting each other for 3 months straight, it doesn't make sense to me. And so that's my only knock on that. But other than that, yeah, the match gets a C+. I thought it was really good. It was really, really good. Once again, just like the men's Intercontinental Championship, as good as this match was, it didn't deserve to be on a premium live event. They could have put this on Raw, and I would have been just as happy. But, we got it tonight. We move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. This match consisted of Andrade, El Grande Americano, or Chad Gable, whoever you want to say, Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Penta, and Solo Sikoa. This was the match that when it was all set up, I was like, really, these guys? I mean, it just, this is the most random. This is like playing WWE 2K25 or something, and you just have the random picking matches, for your opponents. This is what it feels like. It feels like this was the most random of opponents you can get. The only ones who had a real shot, logically in my mind, was Seth Rollins and LA Knight. Those were the only two. I was pulling for LA Knight to win this match because this is the third year in a row LA Knight has had a Money in the Bank match. And so I was hoping he would finally cross that plateau. Because he's over as all get out, and yet and still they got him relegated to mid-card, and I don't understand, bruh. I just don't get it. This is a main event guy that they have actively pushed to the mid-card. No matter how over he is, no matter how good he is in the ring, who he goes toe-to-toe with in the ring, he has proven that he's a main event guy. It's time to give him a shot, and WWE, man, Triple H, I don't know what's up. But this match was fine. This was fine. Logically, it didn't work for me. I did like some of the spots. I liked that Penta continues to shine in WWE. Penta, he's another one. It seems like they have strapped a rocket to his back as well. He is, uh, ever since, I mean, the first night he got to WWE, he has been knocking it out of the park. I mean, every match, even in his losses, he has shined. And I have been just floored by Penta. Um, in this match, he was the MVP to me, almost to the point where I was kind of hoping he won. It was, I was just feeling him, man. He was taking everybody's shots. He was still climbing that ladder. I mean, everybody. He didn't single in on nobody. He went at everybody and took everybody's best shot. I am I am officially a huge Penta fan. I always liked him, but I can officially say I love him. I am in love with Penta. And now where the match got crazy was with the interference, and this is where I was like, man, this is too much. This is a ladder match. You know what I'm saying? You have 6 opponents in this ring, and we're waiting for interference to come. They're getting interest music. They're coming out the aisle, down the aisle, and it's slow. And I'm like, what is everybody doing? Everybody just laying around, and you know what you're supposed to be getting up the ladder in the retrieving the briefcase, and it's just phony to me. It just didn't feel real. And I know we're talking about wrestling, I get it, but I mean, it just didn't feel right. Now, it was cool to see Jacob Fatu finally turn on Solo, finally give Solo his comeuppings. But aside from that, none of that really worked for me. You know, the match was just overbooked, and it was overbooked for no reason whatsoever. No reason. But ultimately, Seth Rollins did eventually climb the ladder and retrieve the briefcase to become Mr. Money in the Bank for the second time. Y'all remember the first time he had Money in the Bank, and he pulled off the heist of the century when he cashed in at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. And so this kind of, I mean, it made sense why he won it. It made all the sense in the world, because you still have the CM Punk element, which I was shocked he was not at Money in the Bank. I mean, shocked. I was expecting to hear Colt the Post personality multiple times, especially when Seth Rollins was climbing that ladder by himself. I was waiting to hear like Mussolini, but it didn't happen. CM Punk was not there. Shocked. But how would this work storyline wise going forward? I don't know. Who will Seth cash in on? Is he going to cash in on Jey Uso, or is he going to cash in on John Cena? I think John Cena is off limits. I think if it's going to be a cash in, it will be on Jey Uso, probably as early as Monday night when he takes on Gunther. We shall see. But Seth Rollins defeats Andrade El Grande Americano, LA Knight, Penta, and Solo to become Mr. Money in the Bank. In that match, gets a letter grade of a C. Yeah, it was a fine match until it got just chaotic with the overbooking with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and then you had Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo, and it just got too chaotic at the end of that match. But fine match nonetheless. So that leads us to our main event, the tag team match between Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. The weakest main event in recent memory, you know, as far as, you know, PLEs outside of WrestleMania, because that was a weak main event. But this was just the most random main event. This didn't have to be the main event. This is Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank match should have been the main event. I understand you had the WWE champion and you had the heavyweight champion in the same match. I understand you had Cody Rhodes. You had Logan Paul. I understand the elements here. But let's be real. There was nothing in this match that had anybody, looking forward to, that you was looking forward to anything in this match. I guess that's how I should say it. There was nothing about this match that was exciting. There was no titles on the line. There was nothing. This wasn't going to lead to nothing. It's not going to lead to nothing. Now, the end of the match probably, maybe, is leading to something other than Cody Rhodes going back after his championship. But I'm not excited for that. I don't care. Honestly, I don't even care. But the match was what it was. I guess the spot of the night was Logan Paul with his drone in his hand getting suplexed off the top rope. We saw it from that POV. That was cool. That was actually pretty fire. I like that. But that's it. That's the only good thing about this match. There was nothing else about this match that was exciting. And then the end of the match. As I said, we had some releases that took place over the last month or so. And one in particular that happened last week that, just took the wrestling community by storm. Everybody was upset, rightfully so, that R-Truth would not have his contract renewed and he was going to be gone. And out of all the people to release, R-Truth, man, that was the whole thing. R-Truth. This dude is a company guy through and through. He is a loyal guy through and through. Anything WWE asks him to do, he does it. He's that guy. No matter what you put him in, no matter what storyline he's in, he elevates it. He's always elevated it. The Judgment Day. Judgment Day was dead until they incorporated that R-Truth element into it. Who really cared about the Awesome Truth tag team? Nobody. But R-Truth made it work. The Miz is what the Miz is. But R-Truth made it work. And in every other element, coming into the Royal Rumble and bringing in a ladder and thinking it was a ladder match or a Money in the Bank match. Hilarious. Jumping into the women's Royal Rumble thinking that it was the men's. And getting in the middle of the ring like, where are all the men at? R-Truth is a national treasure. And when they announced that he wasn't coming back, man, I ain't gonna tell you a lie. I was mad about the WrestleMania exit from New Orleans, but that made me so mad. I was like, man, I'm done with WWE. Honest to God, I was pretty much done. Tonight pretty much saved him. After John Cena was going to cheat to win, hit Cody Rhodes with the title after the referee was occupied outside of the ring, we get a guy in a hoodie racing into the ring and attacks John Cena. And I'm like, well, who is this? Who is this guy? Now, I saw that, the sweater kind of came up in the back, and I saw it was a black guy. And I'm like, what black guy is it? Who else could it be? Because the last thing on my mind was R-Truth, because the reports were he was gone. So I'm like, who could this be? And then when he stood up, took off the hoodie and whatnot, and it was all true, man, I'm not going to tell you a word of lie. Man to man, a tear rolled out my eyes. I was so happy that R-Truth came out, man. So happy. And it worked. That worked because he was embarrassed that his last match was him. Well, actually, his second to last match at Saturday Night Main Event against John Cena. John Cena embarrassed him. And they were quote unquote friends, or that was his childhood hero. even though he's like 10 years older than him or whatever. But he was a big part of this John Cena run throughout his career, and he got embarrassed by John Cena. So it made sense for him to come back and attack John Cena, and ultimately cost him this match. This saved that match. Aside from that, this match was garbage, boring, boring. My God, it was bad. But thankfully, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeats John Cena and Logan Paul in this tag team match with an assist from R-Truth. This match gets a letter grade of a C minus. The only thing that saved it from a D or an F was R-Truth coming back. But other than that, there's nothing exciting about this match. It doesn't move anything forward for me. It's nothing going forward that I'm excited about out of this PLE. But, other than Naomi having that briefcase, that's the one thing I'm happy about. And the one thing I can see being excited about moving forward to see how she's going to play the game. You know what I'm saying? With that briefcase. But aside from that, nothing else I care about. I don't care that Seth Rollins have the briefcase. I don't care. I could care less Becky Lynch has the title. I could care less that Cody Rhodes is still feuding with John Cena. I don't care. But hopefully this king and queen of the ring tournament will, inject some excitement in me, leading up to Night of Champions. We shall see. But as it stands right now, it's meh. It was meh. This was a whatever premium live event. And you can honestly see that Triple H don't care for Money in the Bank. He does not care. He doesn't like it. And this showed he doesn't like it. But those are my thoughts and my reaction to Money in the Bank from Los Angeles 2025 is in the books. Once again, to recap, Naomi is Miss Money in the Bank. Dominic Mysterio retains the Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch defeats Laura Valkyria to become the Intercontinental Champion. Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank. And Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeat John Cena and Logan Paul in a tag team match. But I would like to know, what was your thoughts of tonight's premium live event, Money in the Bank? Did you enjoy it? I hope somebody enjoyed it more than I did. And if you did, let me know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for this show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap and reaction to WWE Money in the Bank. Can't wait to speak to you next time as I think it's Night of Champions next month, is it? Coming from Saudi Arabia, which tells me that's going to be a middle of a Saturday. And so it's going to be during the day that premium live event will take place. Yay. happy me. I don't like those. I don't like that they are in the middle of the day. But you got to take it how you get it. But in any event, I'll speak to you then. Enjoy the rest of your evening, your day, whenever you're listening to this, and I'll holler at you on the next go around. Peace.